Welcome back to 52 Lockup. I am your Apple Teeny Cadma of Bit and Apple TV. 52 Lockup is a series I start talking about one of my biggest passion, true crime. A new Cadmaniac episode every Cadmaniac week. I know what you want to say, but please, by God, I gotta decompress because I'm doing a lot of things. So outside of that, I have returned, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to like, leave some feedback, subscribe, you know, the usual, and viewer discretion is always advised. So today, we're gonna head down to Florida. That's right, woo, sunshine! So I got my Florida shirt on that I had when I went out to Florida. Anyways, we're gonna play the imagination game like we usually do with me, right? Come join me. So like we're staying out at the Residence Inn, particularly the one at 4312 West Boy Scout Boulevard, you know, near the Tampa International Airport. We're having a good old time. It's getting on like 11 o'clock at night, and we're like, ooh, getting kind of hungry. We got friends pouring drinks, and we're like, you know what we can go? Pizza, right? So we like, let's get some pizza from DoorDash, you know? It's a very popular app that allows lazy people like you and me, to order food from our favorite local places, you know, that can be delivered to our homes, work, friends' places, even our hotel rooms, you know what I mean? Our DoorDash driver is a young lady in her 20s, and she is impeccable at her service at always, right? We're continuing our night, you know, as we wait for our food, we're like, ooh, ooh. And as our DoorDash driver would be heading towards the hotel room, unfortunately, she would catch the attention of a man on this property. This man would be actually Joseph Killens. The driver would be on the phone with her girlfriend while she's heading, you know, because they're usually on the phone, like, yeah, hey, girl, blah, 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 heading towards a hotel room. And then her girlfriend realizes she's getting robbed. So Joseph Killens actually pulls out a gun, right? And he holds her at gunpoint to force her to get back into the car. He eventually instructs her to drive over to Bellar Lakes apartment complex because he wanted to use their parking lot. This apartment complex is considered to be one of the, like, a great apartment complex, right? Due to their community and apartment amenities, right? From, like, we're talking fitness, pool, sun deck, a lake, overlooking a lake, playgrounds for kids and puppies, even Amazon storage lockers. So with something like that, you would have an expectation of stronger safety measures, right, to be set in place for the tenants as well as for anyone around on the property. Unfortunately, upon the arrival at the Bellara Lakes apartment complex, 38-year-old Joseph Killens would allegedly begin to rape the 20-something-year-old DoorDash driver in the parking lot. The victim would begin crying as soon as Joseph puts a gun to her head, demanding her to perform sexual acts for him. She's begged him, please don't make me do it. I'll just leave. I'll never tell anybody about it. You can take my jewelry. You can take my coat bag. I just want to go home. And I'm not going to tell anyone. His response was that he told her, if you don't do what I tell you, I'm going to rape and kill you. Essentially, he's raping her anyway, so at this point, you can only assume, right, like, he's probably going to try to kill her. However, due to the quick thinking of the DoorDash driver's girlfriend, she began to track her location from her phone, and she could see that the DoorDash driver was, like, in the parking lot. They're trying to figure out, so she gets her family, and they go searching for her directly. They call the cops. Everyone's coming in guns blazing for this particular girl. However, her loved ones would actually beat the police there. Upon arriving to the scene, however, Joseph Killens, he's in the middle of his rape. He's startled by the family. He pulls out his gun and he fires multiple times. He actually ends up shooting a family member of the girlfriend who was on scene. The family member was not critically injured, just so you know. The suspect, Joseph Killens, would go, crap, the jig is up, begins to flee the scene, but doesn't travel very far, right? So he would stay lingering around the Bellara Lake apartment complex, right? And apparently he would attack another woman. He stumbled upon this other woman who was just minding her business. She's got a little backpack. He would grab her, throw her to the ground, repeatedly just punching her in the face, and then stole her bag. Now, while this was occurring, obviously the woman is screaming. The police were on scene. This homeboy is delusional and ballsy because the police are there, tending to the DoorDash driver, hear the screaming. They book it running for the second victim, right? They're running over. Unfortunately, he would get away again. So now we have two cases going on, right? Detectives are now working on these separate cases, and then they decide to collaborate because they're like, yo, we're looking for the same guy. Joseph Killens would eventually get arrested at the Tampa Inn near the Busch Gardens on Friday night of April 21st, 2023. That's 3 days after the incident. Now, during his police interview, Joseph Killens would tell detectives that the sexual encounter with the DoorDash driver was consensual and that the victim asked for it. He's being held without bond, okay, until his trial date. Prosecutors have already stated the fact that they have a mountain of evidence linking him to these crimes, right? And Joseph left DNA evidence behind and was seen on surveillance cameras at the crime scene, which includes residences like Ring cameras. Prosecutors told the courts Joseph Killens is a danger to the community and should remain locked up until his trial, which I gotta agree with. I mean, he just commits a crime. Here's the police, their family busts him, and he still proceeds to commit another. Doesn't even attempt to lay low. He's currently facing charges of armed sexual battery, armed kidnapping, and robbery with a firearm. Now, I would be covering a very different case had her girlfriend not stepped in and realized what was happening. And because she had already had her location with them, right? They knew how to find her. However, regardless of that, I still wanted to find out, does DoorDash have like safety precautions for their employees? You know, like as safe as possible. Now, granted, I did do DoorDash myself like some years ago, but I just did it just out of curiosity. I used to run a restaurant. Now, November 2022, DoorDash posts up a short article explaining their concerns for their safety and well-being of their employees. They state that more than 99.99% are completed without any safety-related incidents, right? But safety is still very important to them. They did a survey in 2021, a national Dasher survey, right? And stated 97% of women Dashers and 95% men Dashers preferred delivery over ride shares because they felt it was safer in comparison. They have in place a free occupational accident insurance if a Dasher is injured on the job and a dedicated 24/7 trust and safety team. Now, part of the safety team that they kind of like put together, they actually wanted to implement, what they did actually implement was an in-app safety toolkit, right? And it's powered by ADT called SafeDash. Now, something goes wrong, they can utilize it and they can get help within seconds, right? They got their location, they know everything, anything that they need is there. So, ever since the release of this, Dasher's like, thanks, I really needed that. They also included additional features like the SafeDash check-in, which means if it's taking longer to do what it normally takes to do that delivery, they're going to check in, like, hey, everything Gucci? All right, you're good? All right, just wanted to make sure. Okay, bye. Like, that's how they do that. They also implemented real-time safety alerts, right, with SamDesk, which is a global crisis detection platform, to alert their Dashers, customers, and merchants about a local crisis, whether it is a crazy storm or a bomb threat or active shooters. Deliveries may end up being canceled, but they're actively still checking in with their employees. They also offer Safe Chat to detect inappropriate language in the chat between customers and Dashers, which sends a warning, right, to the person who's breaking those rules, like, there'll be consequences, so, like, let's not do that, you know? Also, if a customer makes a Dasher feel unsafe, they can immediately report them, and there will be an investigation. And then that Dasher can actually block doing deliveries for that specific person. They also set up what is called porch lights reminders, right? Because it can be too dark, right, to find the address, which sends a notification to the customer that says, hey, porch lights, put them on. I can't help but to wonder, like, with this incident, what additional protocols are they going to be implementing now? And it's a sad situation because she's just, it's not the customer. She's just on her way to go drop off a pizza. She's like, life is good. You know what I mean? And if DoorDash could add something else to their features, I'm just curious as a viewer, what kind of ideas would you give to DoorDash to help keep their employees safe? It's a very sad situation, and I'm very glad that her girlfriend happened to be on the phone just during her travels. And look, I've made my orders, you know, and I've seen them on the phone. I've never cared because they're just there to just drop off the food. And I've always assumed that they do the same thing I do. Like, maybe you're on the phone with someone, like, you just want someone to know, hey, I'm walking down such and such street. Some shit goes down. send help. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we didn't have that advantage before. And when I briefly did work with DoorDash, I personally did not have any particular incidences, but I will say that they did have a very supportive team. I was only working for them like really short time. Like, it was a really short time. I just needed some extra pocket cash, and I was like, I'm gonna get this. And I did DoorDash. But I found that working with them that I did felt like there was a support system. Now, I wasn't with them when they necessarily had all these other additional features, which I think I definitely probably would have enjoyed more, and I probably would have done it a little bit longer if I had those, only because I took those precautions, particularly as a woman, just kind of like, you know, minding my business, doing a delivery, doing my thing, and just to kind of like see what happened to her, you know, not that it happens obviously that much, particularly for, I guess, because of how DoorDash has it set up to protect their employees, but it's enough to startle you, particularly as a woman. And as a woman in general, those things are running through my mind 24/7. As soon as I meet a dude, as soon as I'm interacting with the dude, I am gauging him from day one all the way till I walk away from him, and then I gauge him again the second time that I see him. Like, it doesn't matter. It just doesn't shut off. And I think it's fantastic that I'm covering this story this way opposed to the other way had her girlfriend not been on the phone with her. Are you a DoorDasher? How do you feel about this particular case? Are you happy with those safety features, or are you one of the ones that are like, yeah, this is a really great feature. It does make me feel particularly safe, whether you're a female, whether you're particularly a male. I think in particular when it comes to doing deliveries and doing ride shares, one of the things you would fear as a woman is being raped, but also as a guy, you also fear, which you can be sexually molested, right? You can be sexually assaulted, which can happen. But I often find that when there's a man committing a crime and he comes across another man, he usually wants to establish his, like, dominance, right? And he will go to try to kill the man. With a woman, it's expected, like, I can rape and kill her, and then nobody will ever find out what I did. It's a very interesting struggle of power, because essentially it's what it really boils down to. Rape is never about, like, oh, she's cute, she's good looking, that's why he couldn't control himself. It's not about that. It is about power. It is the same reason why someone would bring a gun into, you know, like, I don't know, a Starbucks, or for whatever reason, when someone's need to, like, establish their moment of power. That's really what it's about. It's not about anything else, and that boils back down to the psychology of things. But yeah, I'm glad she obviously did survive. I obviously don't have her name, and I'm gonna give her that privacy, because rape victims often do not want to actually deal with the cases sometimes, and then some of them will speak out. Sometimes they speak out years later after they finally have gathered their voice. It is very difficult dealing with rape. But what I can say, the most beautiful thing about it is that she has a support system that will help guide her through her tribulations, because it's going to be a long, arduous path. Like, unfortunately, it's just how it is. I wish I could be reporting that nothing happened, like it was a safe week. But unfortunately, it's not. My hearts and my condolences, obviously, and love as much as I can spew out like a Care Bear out to this young lady and her family, who essentially also had a girlfriend who has to also listen in on this. I can't imagine just being on the phone like, yeah, I was at pizza, so tonight, what do you want to do? You in Netflix? And then only to realize, like, something's very wrong. The same thing happens with me. With my best friend, I could be on the phone with them and like, da, 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 and I change to them, and I don't know how they describe the change or how they would describe the change, but I change, and as soon as I do, they already know, like, someone's bothering you. They know instantaneously. Like, they're just like, yo, where the fuck are you? Like, and you know, or they'll start asking key questions, you know, like, is it a man bothering you? Like, they start going through these lists of questions, and I think that kind of relationship to have with someone while you're on the phone is very important, because at the end of the day, it genuinely could save your life. And I'm getting off way topic, but I thought this was a heartbreaking and interesting case, but I also do want to make sure that, of course, if you are a DoorDasher, be safe. Those jobs are not easy. No job is easy, because everything's getting wild. The only difference is we now have the internet to prove it. But thank you very much for tuning in. I apologize for being so late. I have been doing a lot, and I mean a lot of stuff. So I had to like decompress, and I didn't want to get up here and share a story and not be able to put the proper love and care behind the story, because these are victims that I am discussing about what's happened to them. As always, stay safe and stay vigilant.